Good morning, fellow Americans. Like many of you, I am awaiting the verdict of the Kyle Rittenhouse case. Just dropped off the kids from carpool and wanted to jump on here and share with you all my thoughts. I feel like the Kyle Rittenhouse case is a microcosm of what everything in what is going on with America today and why there's so many problems. When we first learned of this case, Kyle Rittenhouse was immediately toted out by many mainstream media outlets, including the current administration, as a domestic terrorist, a Trump-supporting domestic terrorist who could not stand the thought of Black Lives Matter supporters and had to come and do his part under white supremacy. Sorry, my phone is not stable today. Never mind the fact that he had said on record multiple times that he was there to defend the businesses. Because why? Why? Because the Kenosha police were not doing that. They were told to stand down as the city burned in riots. And why? Let me remind you why the city was burning in riots. Because of the Jacob Blake, who was shot 7 times in the back. As another victim of police brutality. Never mind the fact that the police were called on an arrest warrant because his ex-wife called and was claiming that he was raping her, and he actually kidnapped their child. So let's forget about that part. And let's also forget about the fact that he had a knife in his possession and was aiming it at the police. The only headline that was made it to the masses was black man shot 7 times by white police. So this, in fact, enacted the riots of Kenosha, and because no one in the Kenosha law enforcement or the mayor was enacting any order in their city, Kyle Rittenhouse took it upon himself to defend businesses. That was his motivation. If anybody saw the footage, the clear footage, it is indisputable that this was all of Kyle Rittenhouse's actions that did result in the deaths of 3 people were in complete self-defense. He was not there to murder anyone, much to the complete different narrative on The View, on MSNBC, on CNN, keeps touting. This is really, really important case because if the verdict, which many of us are shocked it's taking this long to deliberate on, if the jury, in fact, finds Kyle Rittenhouse guilty, it would be purely based off political mob mentality to satisfy the woke. There are already 500 National Guardsmen in Kenosha right now that if the jury decides that Kyle Rittenhouse is not guilty, they are ready to stop the rioting, right? Rioting from the left. Because they would not have to worry about rioting from the right. This is how we got into this mess in the first place. Displaced anger. There are so many things that so many Americans can stand together on. I think it would be surprising to many people on the left to learn that people, conservative-minded, free-thinking-minded people, are actually not okay with police brutality, people taking advantage of the law and hurting people. We want those people on trial too. No one wants crooked cops. No one wants crooked teachers, crooked doctors. But when you make it a race issue, and let me remind you guys, the Derek Chauvin case, not one time in the trial was race brought up into the picture. Yet, the entire George Floyd movement and Derek Chauvin came to symbolize white man racism against the black man. Isn't it interesting, though, that when it came to the trial, that was never brought up? Not everything needs to be about race. Okay? Say what you will about this kid being 17. everything they pushed on him, carrying, firearms across state lines, all of that was thrown out, because they were charges that did not have merit. It's about proving with beyond reasonable doubt that Kyle Rittenhouse was using self-defense, that he was afraid for his life, and that is only when he used force. And if you watch these videos, there is no doubt that's the case. Even the witnesses from the prosecution said as much. So, if the jury still rules that Kyle Rittenhouse is guilty, wow. Another extremely sad day and negatively pivotal moment in our country. Now, we don't know the verdict yet. I am hoping to God Kyle Rittenhouse is acquitted and he gets to sue every single mainstream media outlet, including Biden, who used his image on one of his campaign ads as defamation. It's a big moment. It's a big moment for America because we want to feel in our free country that we have known it to be, that facts do matter and that justice does play a role. The fact that the judge himself, who's on this case, has gotten so many death threats to himself, to his children, if the role was reversed and this was a case with a push by the liberal mob, do you think it would make the mainstream media that the judge was getting death threats? Oh, yes, it would. Oh, yes, it would. But because it's a Kyle Rittenhouse case, no one's going to talk about that. Let's just pay no attention to that barbaric behavior. Threatening the judge's children with their lives and the judge. This is crazy. And the double standards are in full display in this case. And this is why this case is so important. Yes, comment. I want to know what you guys think. I know, I have amazing listeners all over the country. I want to know your points of view. This is a big deal. This is a big deal, and we cannot forget how we got into this mess. This is the microcosm of a macrocosm. And you know who's to blame for this? Largely is the media. Is the media who loves to vilify the right, who loves to find a villain. And when you do that, when you divide us, we all lose. I really hope people who've actually taken the time to watch the trials, to watch the case, realize how poorly portrayed it was in mainstream media, and that just like with election integrity, we should all want a fair judicial system. We should all want this. Because if this happens, what does it mean for you and me? What does it mean for you and me? So let's cross our fingers together and see what the outcome brings us. I have to give so much credit to this young man who continues to compose himself. I think he's an incredible role model. And he did not go, his intention was not to go and hurt anyone. It was to defend businesses, and he had a right to self-defense when his life was being threatened. And he stands by that. And many of us see that. Unfortunately, so many others don't because of a biased mainstream media agenda. We can only hope that people are beginning to wake up and see this for themselves, because facts do matter. Facts do matter. Displace your anger on where it actually needs to go. Okay, those are my thoughts for today. By the way, I'm going to share a link with my interview with JRA, with Bruce Karasik and Mitch Silberman from Jewish Republican Alliance later on today. It was so much fun to be on the other side being interviewed, because they can finally open up and share with you the moments I became a free thinker, the moments I walked away. And then we talk about current state of affairs, from CRT to Virginia to like major dating tips that will up your game for today's world of COVID online dating to offline dating success. So don't miss it. And thank you for joining me on this journey. God bless.